So with our lovely Miss W, I've got a helper. We're going to practice a little bit with a little human and a puppy. So a lot of times with puppies, little humans can be rather exciting because they tend to wiggle. And of course, Miss S says she's also lonely and wants a couple find-its. So with our lovely Miss W, we want to make sure, ready? Winnie. Hey, Ebba, can you come this way, my lovey? Because we're going to practice with Miss W. So with Winnie, we want to make sure that littles are not perceived as the only playmate, that also they themselves are sometimes a little exciting for the puppies because they tend to run and they squeal and they make a lot of funny noises. So even though the puppy has been doing a great job with your 14-year-old granddaughter, sometimes there's moments you mentioned that the pup can almost give her a little breather. She has a really hard time. So with your babe, if let's say things are really problematic, always use, when possible, your leash to help her prevent the rehearsal of those behaviors you're not loving. So I'm just going to do a little find it. So if, let's say, I'm just going to throw a few things for Miss S as well. So the benefit of doing some find-its for her as your granddaughter comes in or as your granddaughter is practicing with her is she can look to her. Ebba, can you come over here for a second? Help me for a moment. So let's say, for example, your granddaughter tends to invigorate the play response in your puppy, and they do have a really nice rapport where they have been playing and doing some skills together with even toys. There might be times where your puppy may be getting a little confused and thinking part of the game is getting very excited and then mouthing your granddaughter, and then at times by accident it becomes a really fun game for her, and it can be a little confusing. So again, perfectly okay if they're doing well together, but we don't want behavior to escalate, and we don't want your puppy to get in the rhythm of sometimes mouthing littles becomes a game, because then it could overwhelm another small human. It could also turn into mouthing behaviors that maybe you don't want to have escalate. So maybe when the puppy gets overwhelmed or tired, she might start to use her mouth more often. So we want to make sure that the appropriate behaviors are being rehearsed. So if, let's say, Ebba, did you want to use a few snacks, or you're good without the snacks? You would like to do some? All right, so see if you can do a couple find-its for Miss W, just one at a time, toss them for Miss W. So there we go, nice. So the benefit of this game is, even though Miss W is doing a great job coming to visit, wait for all 4 feet to be on the ground, my lovey. That's okay, she didn't see you. So sometimes you have to show it to her and then toss it, okay? So if, let's say, Miss W gets a little excited, Ebba, see, there you go, right there. She doesn't know it's there. Toss the snack that she's watching you with. Can you toss it for Mama? Okay. So when your babes are trying this, Ebba, what are you doing, my love? Oh, well, she doesn't know that you have that one. Can you show it to her and then toss it on the floor for her? There you go. So when they're first starting off, again, it is a little bit of a learning curve for both. But the benefit is, again, like we were doing with me earlier, is anytime the puppy heads to you equals a little find it. Hey, Ebba, careful, because we don't want to step on puppies by accident. Ebba sometimes likes to do her wild dances, but of course we want to make sure we're going slow around puppies. So we might get a little sit. She's very cute, yes. She's got very good balance. So again, we're just doing a couple find-its, even if sometimes your practice around littles ends up being just being around each other and then feeling safe around one another is a really great start. So obviously, as you're practicing with your older granddaughter, who's thankfully a little bit more attention span, which is fine, you may find that you can help her by helping the puppy by doing a few skills. Would you like to do a few more find-its, Ebba? Okay. Can you maybe say Miss W's name and then toss it for her so she can go find it? There we go, right there. And then go ahead and toss it for Miss W. Nice, very good. That was very nice. Because you could even do the beginning stages of also recall. So maybe let's say Miss W is going to practice going back and forth between both of us. Can you stand over here and I'll give you some snacks? So another great way to practice too is doing a couple little recalls between the two people is another great way to get some energy out for Miss W, but not have the person always be the target. So give her just one as she comes into your space, but even if you put it on the floor. Thank you. And then we would go, Winnie, come. So if, let's say, my Miss W doesn't respond, I'm just going to get a little closer. Winnie, come. Bring her into my space feed. And then, Ebba, can you call her? Yep, just say her name and then say come. So if she's a little bit unsure, get a little bit closer and show her your snacks. There you go. Feed her for that, Hippo. Oh, that's all right. So if she doesn't quite see you tossing them, my lovey, show it to her little sniffer first. Ready? Yes, and then toss it for her to go find, okay? Oh, that's all right. So Winnie, come. So let's say she's a little in love with, of course, the wild woman, and she getting a little excited. We'll go right into some find it. Oh, okay. Very nice. So when you're practicing, just always make sure to break it down in little steps. If Miss W doesn't quite know what to do, hey, Abba, easy, soft feet, okay? Yep, that's okay. Then we'd want to make sure we're giving her outs. So maybe it could be, here's a chew item. Abba, careful. Are you going to give it to her? Give it to her on the floor. Thank you. If she's, for example, having a hard time with something, just break it down in smaller steps. Winnie. So even sometimes noticing littles being a little bit wild and then bouncing back from that and being fed and staying calmer around them is still a great starting point. So even if it's not exactly the same dynamic where, yes, my little is much younger than your granddaughter, it might still be a great moment for her to work around distractions and come back and forth in and out of that excitement. So we'll give Miss W a little break from this, and we'll work a few other little skills with our lovely lady. Nice job, cuteness. We'll give a couple tosses to Miss S off in the bubble. But they did a very nice job. Yeah, it was very nice.